In the quiet village of Aikigumo, nestled between rolling hills and vast tea plantations, a young girl named Nia lived with her mother, Mama Abena. Life had never been easy for them. Nia's father had disappeared when she was just a baby, leaving Mama Abena to raise her alone. Despite their struggles, Mama Abena worked tirelessly in the tea fields, ensuring that Nia could go to school. Nia was bright, ambitious, and determined to change their fortunes. However, she was painfully aware of how different she was from her classmates. The children of wealthy merchants and landowners flaunted their expensive shoes and school bags, while Nia carried her books in a worn-out cloth bag, her uniform neatly patched by her mother's skilled hands. One day, the village chief's wife, Madame Wanjiru, noticed Nia's intelligence. She was the wealthiest woman in Kigumo, living in a grand house at the center of the village, far removed from the small mud-thatched homes of people like Mama Abena. Seeing Nia's potential, Madame Wanjiru made a generous offer. She would take Nia into her home, sponsor her education, and give her a life of comfort. Mama Abena hesitated. Nia is my only child. I want the best for her, but taking her away from me. She trailed off, pain evident in her voice. Madame Wanjiru smiled reassuringly. She will always be your daughter. I only wish to give her a future. After many sleepless nights, Mama Abena agreed. Nia's world transformed overnight. She moved into Madame Wanjiru's luxurious house, where servants prepared her meals, and she no longer had to wake up at dawn to fetch water. At school, she now had crisp new uniforms, polished shoes, and a proper school bag. But with comfort came distance. When Mama Abena visited one afternoon, carrying a basket of freshly roasted ground nuts, Nia felt a pang of embarrassment. Her mother's hands were calloused from years of hard labor, her clothes simple compared to the elegant fabrics worn by Madame Wanjiru. Nia, my child, I brought you your favorite, Mama Abena said, holding out the basket with a smile. Before Nia could respond, her new friends, daughters of Kigumo's elite, looked on with curiosity. Who is she? One of them asked. Nia hesitated. Her cheeks burned with shame as she looked between her mother and her friends. She's our house helper, she mumbled, looking away. Mama Abena's smile faltered, but she said nothing. She simply set the basket down and left. The consequences of shame. Days turned into weeks, and guilt gnawed at Nia. She tried to push the incident aside, but her mother's sad eyes haunted her. She immersed herself in her studies, excelling in every subject. Madame Wanjiru was proud, but deep down, Nia felt a hollowness growing inside her. One evening, she overheard Madame Wanjiru speaking with her husband. She is doing so well, Madame Wanjiru said. I think we should arrange for her to study in the city. She can live with my sister and eventually find a good match to marry into a wealthy family. Her husband grunted. What about her mother? Madame Wanjiru sighed. That woman will only hold her back. Nia has a bright future ahead. She must focus on moving forward. Hearing this, Nia's heart pounded. She realized what was happening. Her success was coming at the cost of her own roots. The woman who had sacrificed everything for her was being cast aside. That night, Nia packed her things. She walked back to her mother's small hut, knocking softly on the wooden door. Mama Abena opened it, surprise written all over her face. Nia, she whispered, what are you doing here? Tears welled up in Nia's eyes. I'm sorry, Mama. I forgot where I came from. I let my pride blind me. Mama Abena pulled her into a tight embrace. You are my child. You will always have a home here. Nia still attended school, but she no longer lived in Madame Wanjiru's house. She walked to school every morning with a renewed sense of pride, carrying her books in her mother's carefully mended bag. Years later, she became a respected teacher, ensuring that no child in Kigumo ever felt ashamed of their roots. She had learned the most valuable lesson of all. True wealth wasn't in grand houses or expensive clothes, but in the love of family and the dignity of one's ori.